3, 2, 1, go. All right. All right, so this is Crash Bandicoot any percent. The goal of this category is to just beat all levels as fast as possible. This game doesn't really have crystals or anything, so you unlock the next level by just getting to the end of the previous one. You want to get as fast as possible to Cortex and then beat Cortex. The first thing you may notice is that I death abused. That's in purpose because at the end of each level there's a cutscene. I mean, if you do it deathless, there's a cutscene that will trigger and will drop on top of Crash's head all the boxes you didn't break throughout the level. And there's some boxes, I mean, there's some levels that have like 30 or so boxes, so you lose a lot of time watching that, so it's just better to get rid of that cutscene. Alright, so spinning is actually faster than regular walking. That's why you'll see me spin a lot throughout the entire game. There's also another movement technique that I'll explain later on, just to have like a way of comparing easier enough.
Yeah, there's a level coming up where the movement tech to make you faster is really obvious. And yeah, you notice he's jumping constantly as well. Jumping, like spinning, is faster than walking.
Yep.
And lets you do the other movement tech that we're about to explain.
Alright, so death abusing also takes into account the animations. So if I were to death abuse with a boulder, for instance, it will take a lot of time for me to respawn. So you actually just want to go back and and get the
Fall down the pit.
fall into a hole, yeah, to respawn faster.
The first two levels actually have some of the slowest death abuses in the run. The old strats used to be to actually collect boxes in these levels because the death abuses are pretty slow, but
Yeah.
it was found out that the death abuses are still faster.
Alright, so the next level is Great Gate. It is the first 2D level of the run. And well, the first half of it is kind of straightforward. You just try to do the fastest movement as you can.
Yeah, second half of the level, and most of the game, to be honest, is very dependent on cycles, like objects in the level moving on cycles and being able to get past them on different cycles. That'll get explained a bit more as the run progresses. Oh,
Okay, that's fine. I'll try that again.
yeah. So you're actually invincible while you're spinning, and so hopefully you'll get it this time, but you can spin on top of these. Yeah, there you go. You can skip some cycles by spinning on top of the spikes.
That makes a cycle at the end of each of this level much easier to get. It's called the Great Gate God Cycle.
Yeah, the Crash community loves to call things God Cycle.
Alright, there we go. So you don't actually need to wait on these spikes, if you get that correctly.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's an okay death.
Yeah, there's a lot of deaths in this game which are very, very short.
Yeah, alright, so this is boulders. So the fastest way of movement in this game is called zigzagging. So that's why you see when I'm jumping, Crash goes like to the sides, kind of more or less. So zigzagging is basically pressing directional inputs, like alternating between each other as fast as you can. Usually the boulder goes at the same speed as Crash, but with zigzagging you can leave it really far behind. So that's a pretty good comparison to have.
Yeah, so you can probably kind of see on the stream that White Paws is moving his arm back and forth like pretty fast. So as he's moving down on the screen, he's kind of alternating between down left and down right as fast as possible. And zigzagging has a really high skill cap because it really just gets faster and faster the better you get at it. There's not really a limit other than like alternating every frame, but that's obviously unrealistic for a human.
Alright.
Yeah, you leave the boulder so far behind. Still on
I
screen.
touched the screen. Usually it wouldn't, but I kind of messed up getting on the portal. That's fine. Alright, so this is upstream. Yeah, there's actually a lot of stuff to this level. You can actually, there's a trick that is called double jumps. That is basically on the moving leafy paths. You can actually get what seems like a double jump. It's like a 3-frame jump. Frame jump is really precise. So I'm not gonna do it, but it is a thing.
Yeah, I didn't realize until recently that people went for the RTA. I thought it was just a test trick. And yeah, there's going to be lots of those. These, like Venus flytraps, I guess, are all on cycles. I think they're on kind of local cycles, so they just. Oh, nice.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was kind of like thinking to not go for that because it's a pretty hard jump.
White Paw said he wasn't going to do it, and
Yeah,
then he did it like 5 times in a row in the practice room. So
I said if I got like 4 out of 5, I will do it, and I got it, which is really nice. All right, so while we're on Papu, we might as well do the roll call
oh yeah.
on the couch.
Well, I'm Dactyly. I'll be running Spyro after this,
I'm WedC517.
I'm Stomp.
and that's White Paws.
Hi.
Yeah, bosses in Crash games are typically not very difficult. So
Yeah, and Crash 1 especially, they're basically auto-scrollers.
so you kind of stop there to grab that mask, and it turns out that it doesn't really lose any time because you have to wait for a cycle anyway.
Yeah, there's a way to skip the cycles, but you need a lot of zigzagging, so it's not it's not super hard, but it doesn't really save so much time that I will like risk it right now. With zigzagging, you can actually skip a lot of cycles in this level, though, in the second half.
Yeah, getting through these rolling stone things is can be pretty precise.
Okay, I didn't get hit, which is nice.
It's good.
It's sometimes it's really bad to get hit because it throws you upwards, and you'll have to wait for him to come down. And like you'll have to kind of calculate where you're gonna land to not fall. It kind of loses time. It's kind of annoying.
Really
That level
nice
went really well, though.
Yeah, very nice.
Right, I didn't crash.
Nice. So Hogwild's a bit different because there's not really any fast way to die in this level because you have to wait through a whole long animation when you respawn. It's just very, very slow. The fastest way to do this is to collect all but one of the boxes. If you get all of them, you get the gem, and getting the gems is slow. It has a long animation. And so you get all the boxes except one. And so you'll get the box cutscene that we talked about earlier, but it'll only drop one box on your head. It's the fastest way to do this level.
Probably do.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't think that's the box you normally
Yeah,
skip,
it
but
didn't.
Doesn't matter.
Is that there's a way that I kind of wanted to get in the marathon, but I missed it. There's a way that it doesn't seem that you break that box, but you actually did. It just like does it very delayed. I kind of wanted to get that a bit, but I missed it. So I actually missed the box.
There's not really any way to speed up the
Yeah.
pig, so
So that's fine.
pretty much an
It'll
honest roll.
count only that box. You can skip whatever box you want.
And then yeah, if you weren't doing the death abuses, you'd get this little cutscene after every single level.
Yeah, that cutscene is also RNG. Sometimes Crash will look to the side like 2 or 3 times, and that takes time to skip the cutscene. That actually messes up the cycles in Native Fortress. Actually, there's 2 different ways of cycles in this game. There's local cycles and then there's global cycles. The local cycles are basically cycles that start triggering once Crash and the camera reaches a certain position with the hazard. And then global cycles are actually cycles that are working since the start of the game. So yeah, when I was in
Nice.
all right. When I was in Rolling Stones, the cycles here were actually working. So depending on the RNG, in the cutscene Hog Wild, I get one or another cycle.
So this isn't out of bounds. You can, if you have a mask, you can damage boost off one of those spiky pillars, and the fence at the back of the level is solid on the top, and so you can just walk across it.
All right.
Skip a whole load of cycles.
What I did back there, by the way, that's called a submarine jump. You can actually jump in midair.
Yeah, it's a bit convoluted. If you spin as you fall off a ledge, after the end of the spin animation, you have 10 frames, so a third of a second, to jump. And so by doing that, you can get really, like, you can skip some cycles, get a long jump. It's a pretty large window as well. And then he also had to spin to not take damage of the spiky thing as well.
Nice. This was a pretty decent Island 1, to be honest.
Yeah, this is good pace so far.
Besides the death in Great Gate, this is pretty good. 10:27, geez, that's actually really good. Alright, so up to second island, or as I like to call this level, Extended Island 1. The reason being it drops your inputs a lot, so you don't get to see much of Island 2 if that happens. You just reset the run. Alright, there's actually a pretty cool trick in this section. The plant cycles in the blue plant cycles in this level are actually local, so if you pull the camera backwards there, the cycle will trigger a little bit later, so you can actually skip it without the fearing of getting eaten.
Yeah, if you just the camera is kind of a little bit controllable. If you walk backwards, the camera moves backwards, so you can kind of manipulate some cycles that way.
Yeah, besides that, there really isn't much to this level, really. Well, besides the double jumps.
Yeah.
You can actually get like kind of a triple jump here with a damage boost of the fish, which makes double jumps like really much harder. But yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm trying to grab as many lives as I can because if you game over in this game,
it's over.
It's over, yeah.
There's no way, like, you have to load a save, and the game doesn't auto-save, and you can't really manual save either. The save system in this game is really silly.
The only ways to save in this game are like collecting a gem, grabbing a key, which there are only 2 of those in the game,
Finishing a bonus level.
as well as finishing a bonus level.
Yeah, all of those are very, very slow. And even saving after a gem only saves your number of gems. It doesn't save your level progress.
Yeah, it doesn't. If you save, let's say I got the gem in Hog Wild, right? And I save, and then turn off the game. The game will still spawn me on Insanity Beach, even if I load the save. But I still have the gem. Like when I get to Hog Wild, the game still thinks I have the gem. So
Yeah, it's just really weirdly
it's really
designed.
weird saving system. All right, so that was Reaper. We actually abused masks because this game doesn't let you take out masks from boss fights. So
Right. So Death Abuse there to set up some cycles.
yeah, this is actually not the fastest way to go. The God cycle saves over like around 10 seconds over my Death Abuse strat that I'm gonna use right now because it's like the God
Yeah.
cycle is really difficult.
You need to be kind of safe in this level. So we are getting all the boxes in this level, you might have noticed. And there's a good reason for that. If you get all the boxes in Lost City without dying, that's important as well. You get the red gem. Sorry, the green gem.
Green
Green
gem.
gem. I'm thinking of something else. But yeah, you get the green gem, sorry. And the green gem will be very useful much later in the game. We'll point it out when we get to it, obviously, but you basically get to skip an entire long level late in the game if you get the green gem. And so, yeah, it's very important not to die in this level. No pressure. Funnily enough,
Wow, okay.
this is like a big root difference between the English version and the Japanese version. The Japanese version is a bit slower for any percent, mostly because of cycle differences. But on Japanese, you don't need to get this gem. You get the green gem from Hog Wild instead, which wastes very little time. So that's like the big time save for Japanese. But it loses more time elsewhere.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I messed up, so the cycles are gonna be a little messed up here.
Make use of the 3D range to get past that. Even though this game is kind of, it has a 2D feel, it's still very much a 3D platformer. Like, you can move back and forth on the planes and avoid objects that way. Just like that, you walk past that lizard by walking behind it. Very good. Okay.
That was really nervous, honestly.
That's always a scary moment.
Yeah. All right, so we get the green gem. No. All right, I messed up Lost City, so that's actually gonna screw up my cycles in Temple Ruins, unfortunately.
Yeah, another example of global cycles. They were kind of explained before, but the global cycles persist through basically everything. They persist on the world map, they persist like on the title screen. It's very odd. But then dying resets all the global cycles. So that's one nice thing about having all the death abuses. You get some more consistency with cycles.
Yeah.
There will be one death abuse that we will do later to help like fix around some cycles to make them a lot better as well.
Mask abuse to get past the fire pillars.
We can actually escape those flames without getting hit. I'm actually gonna show it in a second.
Yeah, they have interesting hitboxes.
Nice, it didn't drop my jump.
Yeah, this game and all of the PS1 Crash games have issues with just the controls not working sometimes. You'll try and jump and nothing will happen. So you can just walk beside that flame. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually not a small room, but sometimes you just mess it up. All right.
Very good.
So the next level is Road to Nowhere. Again, this is a level that doesn't really have much to it. It's just basically zigzag as much as you can because it's really linear. Well, I'm actually gonna use the rope here to escape having to break that box.
Yeah, a lot of the scenery in this game is solid even when it doesn't really need to be. And so there's a bunch of places where you can just jump on, like on these pillars or on the ropes. Or you can actually walk along the ropes the whole way through this level, but it's not faster because you can't zigzag.
Yeah. All right, you can read donations if you want right now.
I'm always interested in reading donations. Wolfensteiger says $20, sends us $20 and says, good luck to White Paws. Like half the world, I just got the Insane Trilogy and just remembered how hard the original is. My donation is also for saving the animals. On that note, Suzushiro sends us $50 and says, Crash Bandicoot is now? But I thought we weren't running Dark Souls until Saturday.
So White Paws, what do you think about the new remaster?
Sorry, the what? Is it a remaster?
As far as I've seen, I haven't really played the remasters yet. I've seen them and they look nice. They nerfed the jump though, so it makes like Crash 1, for instance, a lot harder. That's what I've heard anyway. I'll have to try them for myself at some point. But yeah, I'm gonna death abuse here. This is actually a really important section of the game because doing this level well sets up the cycles in Sunset Vista, and Sunset Vista is a really difficult level and nice. Alright, I'm gonna focus.
Yeah, those fences.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, those fences have big hitboxes. It's really annoying to get caught on those. Similar, like in both categories, actually, these cycles are important because not checkpoint. Yeah, there's a thing in 100% as well where you want to go really, really fast through this to skip a cycle at the end. Yeah, you can see that the boulder's just getting completely left behind. Like, zigzag is stronger than you might think.
Nice.
All right.
I don't know if this is gonna get the God cycle in Sunset Vista because I did hit too. Um, yeah, two of those things.
So this level's kind
Slow
of
down.
renowned for being long and difficult, but we're gonna see something quite
Yeah,
interesting.
same way. I missed it.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's all right.
Rip.
All right. So this is fun. I'm not going to pretend to understand why that works, but the way it works is on the plane on which you spawn, so like the 3D plane back and forth on which you first spawn, you're set up perfectly to do that. If you spin just as the pusher pushes you out, you kind of get stuck in the camera or something. I'm not even sure. But
I think
then
it's the camera, yeah.
yeah, and then you just mash jump and you climb the screen and you get to just walk along the top like this.
Yeah. Another interesting thing about this game is that, yeah, I completely missed the God Cycle Rip.
That's alright.
Missing that loses like 12 seconds, 13 seconds. The spin in this game works like if you spin, you have a thing called spin timer, so you can only spin like 5 times.
Yeah, it acts like a meter almost. So you start with 5 spins on your spin meter, and each time you spin, you use one up. And if you run out of spins, you can't spin anymore. You'll press square and nothing will happen.
Yeah.
And then every 2 seconds, I believe, you gain a spin back. And so you kind of have to almost root out when you spin so that you are able to spin when you need to.
Yeah. The problem with missing the God cycles is that you have to wait on those push blocks. Yeah, if you get the God cycle, you shouldn't wait there. It's been a while since I last missed it too, which is kind of annoying, but that's fine. I
That's
guess.
alright. No one would have noticed if we hadn't said anything. And so yeah, we death abuse here, firstly for the usual reason to death abuse, but also because you set back up to do this again. It only works on very specific pixel positions, like certain distances away from the camera, and it just so happens that you spawn at one of those distances, so it's very convenient.
Yeah.
And you can hear actually, he's mashing square when he has no spins left, and it's making this weird noise.
Yeah, another thing that's interesting about spins is that spins actually. Oh, nice, I got that. Spins actually vary on frames, like the duration of the spin varies on frames, whether you do it in the air or the ground.
I didn't
In
know
the
that.
ground, they last for 24 frames. In the air, they last for 14 frames. But if you bounce, if you jump and land with the spin animation and then jump again, or like spin and then jump, the spin actually lasts for 18 frames, which is convenient because that's what you want to do. All right, so that's Sunset Beast.
Nice.
Next fight is Koala Kong. This is the third boss fight of the game. For the longest time, we thought this was RNG, but turns out that you can actually manipulate it. It's really difficult to manipulate, though. It's really inconsistent at the moment.
Yeah, I think if the way I understand it is you stand on certain positions and it manipulates him to throw the rocks like sooner.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say this is not gonna work, but it worked. See,
Nice,
that's how inconsistent it is. Yeah, you can just stand like in the middle, like the current strat is that. It will change at some point, I think. This time it didn't work, but yeah.
Yeah, so if you don't do the manipulation, then Kong's, like, the amount he walks before he throws the rock is random, and the mine carts, I believe, are also random, and so sometimes you end up having to wait for quite a while to hit him.
You can actually spin your TNTs without
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
hurt.
it's a spin bounce.
It is especially good in 100%. Not too much in any. In 80%, you just use it basically for this fight.
Yeah. But yeah, it turns out the explosions of the TNTs don't reach their maximum, like, radius immediately. They expand outwards kind of slowly.
Yeah.
And so if you blow them up and then move away from them, the explosion won't catch you.
That's a very decent fight, actually.
All right, this level is pretty hard, I think.
Yeah,
one of the hardest.
Impressive, though.
This is one of the hardest, if not the hardest level in any percent. The first half isn't really that bad. You just like zigzag as much as you can and 3D range enemies.
Yeah, you can just jump around all of the enemies.
Right. Cool. You don't actually need to ride that platform.
Yeah, some of the platforms in these levels are completely unnecessary.
Up here, there should be another submarine jump. like
Yeah.
Right.
this.
Here comes the interesting part.
So set up steam cycles and then hopefully. Nice. Okay. So that's another sub jump. Spin off the ledge, and then once the spin animation is over, you can jump and then spin again to get some extra height.
It dropped.
Zigzag.
It dropped my spin there, so I thought I was gonna get hit. Like I got so scared. Almost got anti-gavined. Damn. Okay. Cool.
Whenever anything
what I
goes
want.
wrong in
You can actually.
Oh, you go.
You can actually 3D jump those.
More sub jumps. Yeah, whenever anything goes wrong in a Crash game, you can just
Hello.
blame Andy Gavin.
Yeah. All right.
This is cool. If you spin as you go past these, they act as if you landed on them, and so you just get the bounce immediately.
All right. That Hey Machinery went really well. I'm glad. It was not the best Hey Machinery though, because I couldn't 3D range the steam cycles. I did end up losing a cycle, but that's fine.
So Cortex Power is a really confusingly laid out level. In 100%, you have to go around backtracking on different parts and stuff. But
There's actually this level in 100% is really interesting because you wouldn't be able to do it on the first visit, but there's a skip to it that's really hard and kind of
Yeah.
RNG. But yeah, that's in 100%.
yeah, in any percent, we kind of know where to go, and you just the usual death abuse, go through as fast as possible, zigzag a lot,
The
as you can
level's
see.
fairly straightforward. And
Yeah, it's not too
Yeah,
hard.
it's always not too bad in 80%.
Very short as well. It's a nice break after heavy machinery.
Yeah, alright. I'm kind of waiting before entering a level because in this game map crashes can happen sometimes. We don't know why it exactly happens, but my theory and it's shared for us with some other runner that if you actually mash, you don't let the level load correctly, so
Oh,
okay.
are we back?
I don't know if the stream died or something, but we're back.
It's alright, you didn't miss much.
Yeah, the
Just swipe
first bit of generator is fine.
Just splicing a PB real quick.
at GDQ.
Yeah, you damage boost to get there faster. There's actually a way to escape right on this platform.
Yeah,
Shout out
some
to
of
Red
those,
Hot VR.
some of those pillars on the sides are actually solid, and you can stand on little bits of them. And yeah,
Right, so this is Toxic Waste. This is probably the most straightforward level of the entire game. Just go dodging those barrels and killing the enemies, and right, you just have to zigzag as much as possible. It's really actually, if your zigzag is not straight enough, you might actually, it's very easy to fall.
yeah, that's one of the hazards of zigzagging because you're going left and right constantly. But if you're on a thin platform like this, it's very easy to just lose your footing.
Yeah, all right. I guess you could read some donations while this level.
I'd love to. We actually have a $500 donation from Oni Plays. Yes. Oni Plays says, sending some love to our favorite funny Bandicoot boy. All of us at Oni Plays are big fans of the runs, so keep up the good work. And Anonymous gives us $10 saying, for a good cause and to celebrate the nostalgia I have for Crash Bandicoot, my first video game. Good luck and have fun, White Paws.
Thanks. All right. Oh, by the way, the cutscenes of most of these boss fights, like, you know, the cutscene in Koakong and the cutscene in Pinstripe, you do not need to skip them. It doesn't really save any time. The thing you may notice is that I let him go all the way to the right. That's because if you hit him the 3 times and let him come to the right, he'll actually go from right to left, shooting his gun all the way through. So it is actually slower to do that.
And yeah, the game doesn't care where you're hiding as long as you're in the hiding animation. He can shoot straight at you and he won't hit you.
Yeah, as you can notice, Pinstripe has really good aim.
Yeah.
Like solid aim. Look at this. Alright. Oh, well, I wanted to off-screen that, but no. Alright, so next level is the high road. Again, this is a really important level. 10 lives are really high, nice. Because doing the last beat of this level well enough sets up the cycles for Slippery Climb, and Slippery Climb is a really hard level.
Yeah, similarly to what we did in Sunset Vista, use the previous level to set up good cycles. So I hear this level's really hard on the remasters.
Oh yeah. Nice. I just got anti-gabbinged.
Yeah, that's a thing that happens occasionally. Like, press jump and nothing happens. I don't even know. Is it caused by lag or by just...
I don't know. I think it's lag because it's a lot more... Like, this doesn't happen on emulator that much.
I noticed on Crash 2, I get dropped inputs less on my slim PS2 than on my fat, so it's probably something to do with that.
Yeah. Alright, so I had to death abuse again because to set up cycles in a Slippery Climb, even though I died before. So, yeah. Alright, so I'm actually gonna try and focus on a Slippery Climb.
Yeah, this level's long and it only has 1 checkpoint, and I don't know if it has any masks, maybe there's 1.
It's 1,
Yeah,
And it's kind of near the beginning.
yeah, so very easy to lose a lot of time to death here. Making use of the spin invincibility again to jump on those spikes. It looks very scary, but it's actually not too difficult. The spin is fairly long, and you're invincible for the whole thing, so that's a cool cycle skill.
Okay, we're good. Yeah. If you make that bird cycle, then you're good. To make this third cycle here.
These stairs are so annoying if you don't know what cycle you're on.
Yeah.
It takes so long to go up and down. And then, is it up here or is it later where you death abuse?
Your death abuse, yeah, coming up soon.
Yeah. The death abuse here is kind of different looking. You get a really long death animation, but it's still faster than not dying because there's a lot of boxes in this level.
You can actually get on top of that platform as soon as you spawn. Like, you spawn and then if you do, like, there's like a couple of setups, but it's still really difficult. Kind of difficult, I know. So, one interesting thing about these stairs in this level is that they can get glitched depending on how fast you go. So they can stay up a lot longer than they're supposed to sometimes. Solid, I should be able to get the cycle. Oh yes, okay,
Man.
nice.
That was good.
Yeah, there's another runner called Tapped W. He says that that cycle is super consistent, and I usually fail it every time.
That was very nice, though. That level's not easy.
Yeah, that was a really, really good slippery climb, actually. All right, so this is lights out. This is another level that it's hard. If you actually zigzag on the sides, like if you don't have straight enough zigzag, you might actually bunk on the ceiling.
Yeah,
And
these
fall.
arches are pretty narrow, and then there's a bunch of just random solid scenery to bonk on. And as far as I know, you can skip quite a few cycles with good zigzag in this level. It
Yeah, there's
saves a lot of time.
after these platforms, there's a cycle you can get with good enough zigzagging and not bonking on the arches. So we'll see if I can get it.
And I guess
Nice.
I guess the gimmick in this level is that your mask acts as the light, and so if you get hit or if you don't pick up the masks, you'll be in the dark.
Yeah, all right.
And I guess you could still play the level like that, but yes, we can see here.
Like this.
But it's a lot harder.
Nice.
Oh, good
Let's
sub
go.
gel. That's good.
That was good, yeah. By the way, that cycle I mentioned, I did get it. It's maybe not like... There's a lot of subtle things about this game that may not be apparent, but yeah.
Yeah, the
They are
speedrun
there
is
at
not.
the same time.
It's not super flashy, but like it's. If you know the game, it's impressive. Except for the sub jumps, they are really flashy.
Ah, yeah.
So I suppose there's one thing we haven't noted. White Paws is a very interesting looking controller right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll show it to you once I finish this
Yeah.
level, I guess.
Yeah, he was having issues with getting random inputs from his controller, and so he improved it a bit. We'll show it on the
Yeah,
cam in a
we'll
bit.
show it.
Yeah, I had like random inputs for like 6 months coming from this controller until I like actually somehow fixed it.
These skewer things, you can get through them if you spin, just using the spin invincibility.
You can actually sub jump this. I'm gonna try getting this one, we'll see. I just didn't want to try that one because it loses a lot of time if you fail it. Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so what he was trying to do was go under the spikes with a sub jump.
I'm not gonna try it again because the cycle, I still need to wait even if I get it, so.
Oh my.
What?
He fell through the pillar.
Okay, I've never seen that.
That was
Could be.
amazing.
Oh wow, now I got anti-gavined. Nice. This is how usually Jaws goes, so I'm glad you're seeing like the usual Jaws of Darkness stuff. Not acting nice like Hey Machinery.
Alright.
Right. I still... Well, I have a lot of lives, that's nice. So yeah, I'm gonna still Death Abuse here to set up cycles at the end of this level. Because if you die in the second checkpoint, the cycles are actually bad at the end, so it's better just to Death Abuse.
The worst snake in the game. In 100%, if you aren't careful, you hit that snake into the TNT behind it and blow up the Cortex token, which you need to beat the to get the key. So it's a really annoying like trap for new players.
Yeah. Alright.
Right, so you want to show the controller?
I'm gonna do it in Castle.
Okay, Castle. That
So,
makes sense.
so this is Castle Machinery.
Oh, this is what we used the green gem for that
Yeah.
we got earlier.
We actually just skipped the level. 3D abuse that, and yeah.
Yeah.
We actually get the cutscene that we were talking about, so it's 24 boxes falling on top of Crash's head, and yeah, this is my controller. Yes, you can see it has tape, it's pretty good, and doesn't have my R1 or L1 buttons, and doesn't have my analog sticks. I just took them out. And it stopped doing the random input, so I guess it works. I only use this one for Crash 1, though.
But yeah, Castle Machinery, if you do it normally, is very long and pretty boring as well. There's not too much to it.
Yeah.
And so it's really nice that we can just get the green gem and skip it like that. And you get loads of lives, which is convenient as well.
Yeah. All right. So this is Brio. The only really fast strat here is not mess up. if you mess up, he actually takes more time mixing his beakers and the chemicals and whatnot. So actually, he actually takes more time on throwing them. If you do not mess up, like I just did, which was good, he throws them like right away. And then the next phase is straightforward enough, it's pretty easy. Alright, so I have, next up is the lab. This level killed 2 PVs last week, which is really unfortunate. This is a level that isn't that bad actually. We're just using the invincibility frames to get past these things.
Yeah, you don't need to wait on the electric things at all. You can just spin through them.
The only hard one is that one, the one jumping, because the spin lasts for less frames, as I explained earlier in the run.
These scientists, you can just jump around them.
Yeah, it's really easy to jump around them. So if like you're learning this game, I suggest you actually learn that. It's really easy. So Death of East. Here's a really funny thing about this game. I mean, about this thing. So you can, like, those TNTs actually do not explode if you hit the diagonal thing.
Yeah,
really
I
funny.
don't even know how that works, but you can just spin the exclamation box through the TNT.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a sub jump here. Last shot sub jump of the game.
Nice.
Yeah, and now comes the hardest level of the game.
Indeed.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like, oh, super hard. Alright.
So the idea behind that level is if you get all the gems, you can get the 100% ending by taking a different path. But yeah, in 80% it's
Yeah.
completely pointless.
Alright, so Cortex has only one strat really. It's basically an auto-scroller, but if you move all the way to the front, you actually avoid getting hit by the blue things, and you can hit the green things earlier, so yeah. While I'm at this, oh yeah, time is coming up soon. TM.
Yeah, when he hits Cortex the last time.
Yeah, alright, so huge shoutouts to the Splash Runners helping me here in the couch, and shoutouts to the TEP Black Discord for all the support as well, and to the Splash community in general.
This game's come really far in the past couple of years.
Yeah, it's
so
the
much
optimization in this
optimization.
game has been a lot thanks to the help of the community. So time is coming up like in soon.
Yeah, hits him with the green thing and then it's over.
Yeah, so, time.
41.
41?
Yeah, shit. Good job, man. I don't know, I didn't see. Yeah. Yeah, with all the deaths in Jaws.
All right, so it's apparently a 41.58, which is like, I don't know. It's only like a 10. It's 14 seconds behind my P, 15 seconds I think, which is really good. But yeah, huge shoutouts. I also want to give shoutouts to the speedrun and the speed.